This is Urdizzle back again. Second video in as many days. Keep this up, it's going to turn into a habit. I decided to pop in and do Pro Tour number 404, record and see what I can do. Turned out pretty well. Didn't win, but solid showing. Thought I would do a quick in the bag because it has changed since even last video. And I've reverted back to some old plastic. So in the bag we've got couple accurate roll discs, the musket and the sapphire, my accurate glide sapphire, which I'm pretty sure is still the farthest accurate disc in the game without skips. I've got our glide skip captain, or glide water skip, that's my water skip disc. Still getting the hang of those. Wind skip raider for shorter shots, need a little skip on. And then the trifecta of Rives, the glide roll, which is one of the ones that was in glide sticky. A little different. And I did see that they changed it. They're going to be getting rid of some of the roll attributes. But anyway, so the glide roll, light glide, glide skip. Then the putters, I don't believe these have changed since my daily video yesterday. We've got the accurate sticky keystone, accurate sticky hope for ones that are a little longer, the accurate wind fuse, the accurate glide trust, and then rounding it out with the accurate roll explorer, which has been in my bag forever, and then the accurate wind grace, not the accurate skip, which I will use sometimes. And we are just going to go right into it. No warm up. I played a few multiplayer matches earlier today and was not doing so hot. I think I was trying out some new discs that I just wasn't as comfortable with, and just honestly, it was my throw-ins. I was missing a lot of throw-ins from the 70 to 110 range, so hopefully we can clean that up a little bit. And it's good to see a familiar course, Oak Hill, to start off tournament. And I do not remember all my ace run lines, but that was pretty close. That would have been a heck of a way to start the tournament, knocking one in. I'm sure somebody did. I'm sure multiple people did. Good 200 to start, but easy tap in birdie on an ace run is kind of solid. This one, again, no big worries. There's a couple holes on Oak Hill that I'm a little worried about. I think it's hole 6, the one with the water carry island hole. I'm a little worried about that one. And I'm worried about the left to right, the dogleg right downhill, because I really don't have a good disc for that one. I'm just, at this point, I'm hoping that doesn't pop up, and of course it does. Here, this is one of the reasons I put that wind skip disc in there. I used to throw wind skip recoil. That was probably, if I had to pick back in the day, the next disc in my bag, it would have been the recoil. And this one, I just put a little bit of turn on it, skip up here, and it's absolutely perfect. You will notice a common theme. I left myself in that 50 to 60 foot range. This is just inside that, but I had a lot of putts right around 50 feet, 55 feet. And I've always felt more comfortable putting them than throwing them in. Putting in general with no elevation changes out to 64 feet, usually pretty comfortable. All right, looks like we're switching over to downtown now, and this is probably one of the holes that was the main driving force behind me putting a lot of roll discs in my bag, just because I would throw the accurate wind or the accurate glide musket. And when this course first came out, I would always get those long skips that would just go out of bounds. So it was really, really hard to control the distance on that. So I think that was definitely one of the early holes that got me doing that. Same thing, this one here. I mean, you've got the wall there. So accurate roll musket is a good choice for both of these holes. But it's one of those things with distance control downhill. On this one, you can't really go too much more disc. I think... Oh, God, it's been a while. I'm pretty sure if you throw the sapphire on that, it might go a little too far. Definitely don't want to do that. All right, this is the first tricky hole, I think, because you got to worry about that headwind flipping the disc over to the right. And this was, I would say, probably the longest. So if you want to count here, look at the timer, how long it takes me to decide what to shoot. So I was thinking a lot of different things here. My first thought was, if I throw the sapphire, number 1, will the sapphire flip over too far to the right? And 2, would it be enough to get down there? Because you've got those bushes that are right in front of the basket that can block you. The other thought in my mind was, I've got a light pole that's sitting right there. And I honestly didn't pay attention to the shot. I didn't know if I was in front of it or behind it. So like right here, I was considering going to the left and then playing a kind of a skip shot out to the right. I was also considering a forehand shot, but I did not want to bring the water into play. And so I ended up going with my Raider, so the wind skip, which now that I'm thinking, when I did the disc walkthroughs, I may not have said Raider. I don't even remember if I said the right disc. But I think that was a little fortunate to hit the bushes right there. That's one of the reasons I keep that disc in the bag, though. It's a little less disc than the Rive and a little more disc than the Sapphire. There's another putt in the upper 40 ranges. Again, it was a lot of those. And just to kind of calm the nerves, it's nice ending on Blueberry, because most likely what's going to happen, I'm going to have a few ace runs, and you're not going to do too much damage to your score by playing this course. So just hoping to get a good shot. That one's actually a sneaky putt, because if you're putting downhill, it's easy to chain it out too high. All right, normally on this hole, I'll throw a musket, but it just wasn't quite enough disc with a headwind like that, and I thought I had a really good shot. That is not going to be the last hole that I hit metal on. Par 3, that would have been a really good way to go out on this round. We'll take the easy birdie, just hoping for another ace run. This one here too, I need to mess around a little bit with my trust. So this used to be a hole where I would throw the river, and now I do this shot and almost got another ace. And that is not an accident. I've got that forehand musket lined up where I can usually give it a good run. Sometimes it ends up too far right, but I am not unhappy with that round, especially with the 2 near aces. And looks like 10 under is about what most people threw. Got a couple 11s in there, but... All right, going into round 2, looks like the hot round was a 12 under. This is one first hole. There's no way I'm running that. If I absolutely need an ace, I'll try to squeeze one in between the trees there with my... If I remember right, it's the Accurate Roll Sapphire, but no way I'm trying that. Not on the first hole. All right, here, so this is one of the drawbacks of not knowing the courses ahead of time. This is an ace run if you've got an Accurate Skip Grace. Unfortunately, I do not have that in the bag. I put the Accurate Wind. So if I knew this hole was coming, I would most definitely have thrown the Accurate Skip Grace in there. And of course, this is a second one. So those 2 holes back to back are definitely aceable if you got the Accurate Skip Grace. I mean, you can ace it with some other discs, but most of them will fly way too far by it. There's another putt in the upper 40s. Yeah, you will. I don't think you're going to see a lot of tap-ins. I've lost count up to this point, but I'm going to say there's at least 10 to 12 putts in the 45 to 55 foot range. All right, so we're back at this one. Now, there's a crosswind. It's not as much. And got that one. Let's go. So that was my trusty, love it, Accurate Roll Sapphire. So that one, I didn't have to go Accurate Glide because it was a crosswind as opposed to a headwind, so I was able to adjust. All right, this one, my ace disc, is actually the Light Glide Rive. Aim a little to the left of the basket and just blast it up there. So you can see the height was pretty good, but my left to right was not. So the way I line that up is I aim a little to the left of the basket, with the top aiming arrow is right at the bottom of that little target above the basket. I mean, if you replay the video, you'll see what I was aiming at. All right, so now I got a second shot at this one, similar wind. Now what I need to do here is put it on a little bit of turn, and I did not, so that's why it missed too far to the right. So if I do that, and as soon as I let go of it, I knew I messed up. You just got to put a little bit of turn on it so it kind of hugs that tree on the left. Just not quite as good a run as I gave it last round. All right, this is a very difficult eagle with a wind like this. So my goal here is just to play it up over the top of the tree and hope it comes back right. And right here, I got extremely lucky under the bush, missed the light pole. I mean, and it gets a roll. Like, I challenge you to find a better shot than that with that wind. I mean, without risking OB. And then right here, once I'm within this range, if it's any further back, you've got to maybe bump up to a skip disc. But with that wind, knowing that the headwind's going to flip the light glide over, that is a pretty easy shot. And then again here, I don't like to throw in with the 3 headwind, so I'm going to putt it. 47 footer. Got to aim a little higher because it's uphill, but as long as the nerves don't get to you, I'm pretty comfortable with that. All right, this hole I am not comfortable with. I do not have a disc I like, so I am actually playing this one for par. I'm going to throw my Accurate Glide Sapphire, put a little bit of turn on it, and I put too much turn. And right about here, I was highly confident was going out of bounds. Instead, it skips under, off, through, and actually gives me a shot at birdie that I did not deserve. That should have been out of bounds. And then one of the things you'll notice on my throw-ins is I do not, almost never change my aim point. Occasionally I'll make it higher or lower, but usually the left to right I don't change. I just change the pullback angle. All right, this hole has gotten significantly easier. So I'm not well versed in the water skip discs, but this hole has made this, or those discs have made this hole significantly easier. So right here I can probably clear it with my either my light glide or I guess my glide sticky rive. But here, just to be safe, I went ahead and played the water skip disc, and obviously there I did not need it. And there we are, 55-foot putt. And I was not worried about the bush because I was on the left side of it, so I knew I was in front for the putt. I mean, getting eagles on those 2 par 5s, that is a really, really, really good round. I am very happy with that. And I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure that was hot round for round 2. So very, very happy with that. All right, round 3, and I'm not sure where I'm at the standings at this point. So each time, I really wanted that ace. That was my accurate roll musket. At this point in time, when I finish a round, I do not want to know where I'm at. I don't want to know if I'm 1 stroke behind, 2 strokes behind. I know some people want to see that because then it changes how they play, but I do not want to know that. So at this point in time, I knew I was having a pretty good start. I felt like I left maybe 1 ace on the front. That one I was a little surprised. So that was my, change topics real quick. That was my accurate sticky hope. Usually I can get a little bit closer on the forehand, but I think with just a touch of headwind it knocked it down. But no, I do not want to take any unneeded chances. So I do not know where I'm at right now, but I'm pretty comfortable with my round so far. All right, that was not my best effort, so I hit metal first time on this hole. So this is a little blueberry heaven, this tournament. So metal first round, ace second round, and that one was not really close. All right, this hole right here, I know a lot of people have discs at work. Middle arrow just to the right, straight pullback with the grace. And I can actually throw my accurate skip grace because the way it lands, so you notice it'll come in. And as it comes in right now, it's just flat. So even if you have a skip disc, it will not skip in that sand. It just slides right in there. And like I said, there's another one of those 50 footers. Yeah, I won't say I'm 100% because there is no hole where you're 100% if you're really getting aggressive, but I'm pretty close to it with that, just straight pullback no matter what the wind, because the wind on that hole is always a 1. It changes direction, but it's never anything more than a 1. All right, this hole, I could play for the throw-in, but my throw-ins earlier today were absolutely freaking atrocious. So there was no chance I was laying that one up. I'm pretty comfortable with, as long as the wind is not too much of a tailwind, I'm pretty comfortable with that Accurate Glide Sapphire. All right, this hole I am not comfortable with. I played it 3 times earlier today, and I parred it twice, and I think I bogeyed the other. And this is just not a good shot. I don't know what other way to say it. That was just not a good shot. So this is the hole that I think I need to go into practice mode and just play it, because I don't remember what I used to throw. Actually, it just hit me. I do remember what I used to throw. I used to have a glide turn rive that I would throw because it would not turn back into the mountain. That's the disc I need to throw back in the bag. Yep, because it would not turn back into the mountain. Oh, I really wanted that one. Yeah, being able to save birdie on that would have been nice, but honestly, after the OB, there was really not much of a chance for anything other than a par unless I got a good throw in. All right, switching over to the wonderful, wonderful Windswept. So this one, I played it a little safer than I probably should. So that was the Glide Sticky. I didn't want to go long. And even here, I know this is a longer putt, but I'm pretty comfortable with a 61 footer. Again, my peak range for a putt without elevation change is 64. So that, since it was slightly uphill, is probably at the top end of that. All right, I've gotten this exact hole with this exact wind several times today. So I know to aim a little to the side. I just forgot how high or low to aim. So I had the right line. I kind of got lucky it didn't skip there, but that's a tricky wind because you don't really want to aim too much lower to have it turn to the right and bring the water into play. So I'd rather go high than low and bang it backwards. And then this one, I'm not even messing around with it. 4 wind, I'm just throwing my accurate wind fuse, throw it up there. I mean, I don't see any scenario where you ace run this one, and if you miss, you're not coming 60 feet back into a 4 wind. Not happening. So first big mistake on that hole, gave away 2 strokes. Hope it doesn't come back to bite me, but I'm all right with that. All right, into round 4, and I did look at the hot rounds. It looked like there were a bunch of 11 unders and a couple 13s. So I know I'm going to have to shoot something really well. Again, I don't know what I need, but... All right, so this one, that's the Rive, the Glide Sticky. So it's sat. You can clear it with a lot of discs, but a lot of times it skips way too long. So I figured out that the Glide Roll or the Glide Sticky Rive can clear that in any wind you'll run into. And it maxes out at 2. All right, it's an ace run hole, but with a wind of 3, I'm not really comfortable. So that's my Explorer. And thought I had a decent shot at it, just a little to the side. So I think I had the height correct. I just did not read the 3 wind. I thought it would blow it a little bit further to the left, and it did not. So I'm wondering where the extra stroke is going to come from. All right, so I'm back in the game after a long break, and now that I'm getting used to the water skip discs, this is probably the one hole that benefits the most from this. You just throw it out there, let it do its double skip, get it up there. This hole used to be one where you'd play for throwing from anywhere 190 to 220 feet from that middle island, but now I'm not going to call it a gimme eagle, but it is significantly easier than it was when I played 9 months ago, 2 years ago. It's just a completely different hole. All right, good start. So at this point in time, I am doing a little bit of math in my head. So again, I saw 11 unders and 13 unders. So that means if you throw an 11 under, you need all birdies and 2 eagles. With the albatross on the par 5 and then that eagle, that's 3. So right now, if I can birdie out, I know I've got a 12 under. So I'm trying not to screw up. Now, this is one I feel confident that I can eagle, so this is probably where people got the 13s, and I flipped that over a little bit too much, but I got a really good skip out of this, and I'm thinking I'm going to get a look, and then, of course, what happens? The damn bush. The stupid bush. So right here, I know there's pretty much no shot. I could probably try to throw the Explorer. The problem with throwing the Explorer and going around the right side is if you try to angle it around that bush and miss, you can end up back in that little cove to the left and maybe not even have a putt. So I was like, just throw the forehand, see if you can get it. If you get it, you get it. If not, no big deal. Again, I'm okay with birdieing out here. Now there, I thought I messed that one up too. I got a really lucky kick, and I'm hoping I just don't get pinned behind that rock, which I should be okay. And here you could throw a forehand turnover to the right, but I think this is a pretty easy shot. Just make sure not to aim too high. I mean, for anybody that's up near the top of these pro tours, that is a pretty standard shot everybody should have. Just easy little turnover shot. All right, so at this point in time, I'm thinking with my 2 good shots that there's got to be a difficult course coming, and it kind of is. So this is a very tricky wind. You can easily go long. So at this point right here, I'm thinking I skipped long and I went OB in the water. And I got so lucky. So I can see a lot of people struggle with that hole. I bet that's where a lot of 11 unders came from. They got the albatross and the eagle, and then they messed up that one. That one's almost worth just going for the island, because if you miss the island, you've got to tap in for par. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna cut myself off. I thought I was in trouble. that, that was the luckiest shot the entire round. That easily should have been out of bounds. I did not deserve that one. And so right here, I'm just trying to play a low shot through. I'm not trying to make it. Just get it on the little cove there. That was probably the luckiest shot of all 4 rounds. Going back to the old thing I was saying though, I think a lot of people probably got albatross eagle, but then messed up that island hole. So, yeah, I'd say just go for it, because if you play for the layup on that little island hole and then you throw it and miss it and go out of bounds, now you're looking at a bogey, and it's not worth it. And this is a pretty easy hole to end on. Now, right here, there is not a chance I'm running this. I'm just going to play it nice and safe, ease one out there. And I probably could have gone a little harder than that, but as long as I'm within 50, yeah, 45, it's fine. I'm not going to miss that unless something weird happens. And there you go. So through the 12 under, so 2 13s and a bunch of 11s. So again, I'm feeling pretty good about my score. And now I look at it and I realize it was that par 5. That water shot, that one par was the difference. So ended up with a 43 under, needed a 45, but I think I'm going to end the recording and go practice that par 5 so it does not screw me up again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and a little bit longer video, but that's how the Pro Tours work. So have a good one. I'll see you guys next video.